Hi, welcome to another session of Wing Chun today I'd like to talk about hose, specifically Wing Chun arm hose. Stay tuned. The dummy has been invented for, I would assume, several hundred years. And I've seen a lot of people try to redesign the dummy, but in all fairness to say, every design that they try to redesign kind of suck. Why? Because it's already been perfected. Don't try to reinvent the wheel. Some people are trying to make springy arms on a spring, and this arm just bounces all over the place, and it's not good. It doesn't offer the resistance that you need when you hit the dummy. As well as what I like to talk about is mainly is the hose. If you could see clearly, this hole is a square hole. Every dummy is coming out of China for, I don't know, over 100 years. Holes are square. I've been seeing people making the dummy with round holes, and then with the round peg on the arm, instead of square, it's round, going into a round hole. Now, I don't know about you, but you know what? This is the design. For God's sake, stick with the design. Okay, if somebody made a wheel and it's round, vice versa, it's a round wheel, and you say a round wheel is too hard to make, how about I make square wheels? It doesn't make sense. Follow the traditional way of the dummy plans, the way the dummy is made. And I'll go and explain to you why this needs to be square, these holes, and not round. Because when this goes inside and you're playing with the dummy, it allows it to pivot left and right. Now this here pivots at about an inch. Now if this was a round hole, even though your round hole is going to be a little bit bigger, but it is not going to pivot this much, simply because you can't make the round hole big enough. In this way, the wood pivots left and right, as well as from corner to corner. I'll show you a different view here. This is the back of the dummy, and it also tilts up and down. See how it bounces? And it could move from left to right, left to right, as well as the bottom left corner to the top left corner. See how much in the back it pivots. And it'll pivot from this top corner to this bottom corner. This allows you to play and hit the dummy and have it pivot so that allows you to play and pivot so that your arm is not going to hurt over time. If you have a dummy that is round, it is going to cause you injuries in the long run because it doesn't give as much and it doesn't pivot as much, and when you play on it, it's playing like you're hitting a wall, and it's going to really damage your forearm. If you make a round hole out of the tree trunk or whatever, and you have a round peg, you're going to notice that there's only a certain the round peg is not going to pivot like the way I've shown you with the square peg. It's just going to move very stiffly, even if you made the hole a lot bigger. Imagine this was the hole inside the dummy and this was the dummy peg that goes in. Even if you try to make the hole larger, there's only a certain amount that it will pivot, and it will not pivot the same way. It would not pivot horizontally as much, and it would not pivot diagonally because it's round. So you can see that when it's round, it pivots very little. Then you go have the problem, well, maybe you make a really big round hole, but then it pivots in an arc, and then also the dummy hand would spin. It would spin. It wouldn't stay at one place. So when you grab it and you pull it into a lapda, it would spin, and that wouldn't be good. Just to show you here, the dummy inside, it's really weird. See, this hole here on the left goes in and it crisscrosses. And you can actually see the bottom hole here, it's kind of connected. So this hole goes into from this side of the dummy, and it comes out in the back of this side of the dummy, as you can see. This is actually this hole that comes out from the back. And then the one on the right side, from the front, I would call my right side, goes in here and comes out on that side. And this is the hole that comes out on that side from the back end. So as you can see, these holes here are larger. There are larger holes. And in the front, they are smaller holes. The reason for that is that they'll pivot more in the back so that when you hit it, they'll pivot the correct way. If you're making dummy, for God's sakes, learn how to make square holes, not round. If you're making a dummy yourself, say, oh, you know what, I got a tree trunk, or I found a telephone pole or whatever. Yeah, it's a lot easier. You don't have to make the dummy. So how do you go about doing this? Well, you can follow my instructions on my plans. You can skip the part where you laminate the dummy. All you need to do is, same as before, you draw a straight line here, down the middle, go up over the top, and the straight line coming down the center on the other side. Then you just make a hole here on the left side that's lower, a hole here on the right side here that's higher, and then this hole will come out on the other end on the other side, and this hole will come out on that side. You're gonna have to look through my my dummy building videos to know what I'm talking about. And how do you make these holes? It's very simple, but it's extremely labor intensive. But what's got to be done, got to be done. You will have to take a good drill bit. Not mine, mine's all worn out, but there are better drill bits than this. So what you do is you drill 4 holes. Well, 4 holes on each corner, going in, trying to meet the other hole on the other side. Now, you're not going to drill all the way through. You may need an extension, but try to drill in as much as you can. Drill the 4 holes. And you're trying to then go to the back side, and then you're going to drill another 4 holes. Try to meet in the middle. Now, the wood in the middle doesn't have to be perfectly nice. Most important is that this has to be perfectly nice. This dimension here has to be nice, straight, squarish, or rectangular-ish. That has to be nice. But what happens inside, it doesn't really matter. Because the dummy doesn't, the arms, the pegs that goes in, it's not really going to contact anything in the middle. So what's on the outside here and what's on the outside in the back, it's got to be nice and flat. So after you drill a couple of holes in the front and in the back, and you start to see that you're meeting in the middle, and then all you got to do is just chisel the hell out of it. You got to be, patient. You got to, work at it. You got to make sure that this is square. If you can't get rid of some of the wood from the inside, this comes pretty handy. Go in, try to cut it, make it square as much as you can. Make sure that you get all the way through to the other side, and then just finish it off with some filing. And it's extremely time consuming, and it takes a lot of care and a lot of precision, because to meet in the middle, drilling the two holes and meet in the middle is not easy. And all these hand tools, I mean, it's going to take you a very, very long time. Sure, it is more difficult to do it this way, I tell you, because if you do the laminating process, cutting these holes at an angle, you're going to get nice and smooth, and the angles are going to come out perfectly every time. But if you drill your own holes, it is actually harder. But then again, you skip the process of having to laminate the entire dummy from scratch. So if you do it this way, once again, I'll just repeat, this is the way to do it. These are the tools. Measure it, drill the holes from the front, drill the holes in the back, meet in the middle. And have fun making the dummy, and have a good day. Thanks. Bye.